The dream everyone buys into.
Imagine this. You skip the airport entirely, no security lines, no boarding chaos, no delays. You arrive at a quiet terminal, walk straight to your aircraft, step inside, and take off whenever you decide. No waiting, no stress, no compromises. You land closer to your destination. You're back home the same night. Your schedule finally belongs to you. That's the dream. And honestly, it's a powerful one. But here's the reality nobody puts in the glossy brochures. Owning a private jet doesn't actually give you control over your time. In many ways, it does the opposite. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the wealthiest people in the world still hesitate before buying one. But before we dive in, if you like deep, honest breakdowns of money, wealth, and how things really work behind the scenes, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because this channel is all about seeing past the surface. Now let's get into it. Chapter 1: What you think you're buying. Most people think they're buying an airplane, a machine, a luxury tool, a convenience upgrade. But that's not what you're actually getting. What you're really buying is access to a system that needs people, maintenance, coordination, regulation, and constant money to function. The airplane itself, that's just one piece of it. Let's start with the obvious number: the purchase price. A smaller private jet might cost around $10 million. Step up to a mid-size aircraft, and you're looking at $25 million or more. Go large, long-range, international, that number jumps to 70 or 80 million. And that's before customization. Because in this world, options aren't small upgrades. They're six-figure decisions. Faster internet, premium interiors, custom layouts, everything adds up. But here's something most people don't realize. Even if you have the money, you might not get the plane. New aircraft aren't always available on demand. There are wait lists, sometimes years long. So people don't just buy jets, they buy positions in line. And those positions can be resold for a profit. Think about that. The value isn't just the aircraft, it's access to it at the time you want it. And that idea will keep coming back throughout this entire video. Chapter 2: The reality of buying one. So let's say you decide to skip the wait and go for a pre-owned jet. Sounds easier, right? Not exactly. The market for high-quality used jets is surprisingly tight. When demand is high, the number of good options shrinks dramatically. You might spend months or even a year searching for the right one. And even when you find it, you're not done. Every aircraft goes through a detailed inspection before purchase. This isn't a quick check. It's expensive, it's time-consuming, and it's risky.
You could spend tens of thousands, sometimes
over $100,000 just to inspect a jet, and then walk away if something's wrong. That money, gone. Now imagine doing that more than once, because that happens all the time. So even before ownership begins, you're already spending serious money just trying to get in. Chapter 3: The monthly reality. Now, let's talk about what happens after you own it. This is where things shift, because once the plane is yours, the clock starts ticking. Every month, whether you fly or not, if you finance the aircraft, you're likely paying a substantial monthly amount. But that's just the beginning. The bigger surprise: your jet isn't just a machine, it's a team. You need multiple pilots, not just one, because regulations limit how long they can work. You can't just call them anytime and expect them to fly. They need rest, they need schedules, they need training. So if you want true availability, you need more than one crew. And that means salaries, high ones, add-in benefits, training, and ongoing certifications, and suddenly, you're running payroll like a small company. Then there's storage. Jets don't sit in driveways. They need hangars, and those cost thousands every month. Insurance, also significant and heavily influenced by your crew's experience. And most owners don't manage all this themselves. They hire a management company, someone to handle operations, compliance, scheduling, and logistics. And that comes with another monthly fee. Add it all up, and before your jet even leaves the ground, you're spending well over $1 million a year just to keep it ready. Chapter 4: What it costs to actually fly. Now, let's say you finally use it. You'd think the major costs are already behind you. They're not. Flying itself is expensive. Fuel alone can cost thousands per hour, and private jets don't get airline pricing. You're paying retail at private terminals. Then there's maintenance, but not in the way most people expect. Owners often pay into programs that charge per flight hour. You're essentially prepaying for future repairs, even ones that won't happen for years. It feels strange, but it's necessary, because skipping those programs can expose you to massive, unexpected costs later, and those costs can be huge. On top of that, you have landing fees, crew, travel expenses, catering, and more. So every hour in the air comes with a price tag. And when you factor everything together, each hour can cost tens of thousands. Chapter 5: The Hidden Cost Nobody Talks About. Here's where things get even more interesting. You're not always on the plane when it's flying. Sometimes the jet has to travel to pick you up, or return to its home base after dropping you off. Those flights happen without you, but you still pay for them. These are called repositioning flights, and they can significantly increase your total costs.
In some cases, the plane flies just as much without you as it does with you. So the number you planned? It grows, quietly, and consistently. Chapter 6: The Certainty Illusion. Remember the original goal? Freedom, flexibility, control. But here's the truth. Your jet isn't always available. It needs maintenance, sometimes scheduled, sometimes unexpected. If a part fails, the aircraft can't fly, and that part might not be immediately available. It could take days or weeks. And during that time, you're grounded, or you're chartering another aircraft anyway. So even after spending millions, you still don't have guaranteed access. You have probable access, most of the time. Chapter 7: Can it pay for itself? This is where many people hear the same pitch. Just charter it out when you're not using it. And yes, that can generate income. But it's not as simple as it sounds. That revenue comes with trade-offs. More usage means more wear, more maintenance, more depreciation, and less availability when you want it. You also lose flexibility, because now your plane has bookings, and those bookings matter. So while chartering can offset costs, it doesn't turn your jet into a profitable business. It turns it into a partially subsidized expense. Chapter 8: The Depreciation Reality. Let's talk about value. Jets lose value over time, but not smoothly. Their value can drop suddenly. New models get released, regulations change, technology evolves, and suddenly, your aircraft is worth less, sometimes significantly less. Then there's the cheap jet trap. Older aircraft look like bargains, but they're often the most expensive to own, because the operating costs don't shrink, but the maintenance risks increase. At some point, the cost to fix the aircraft can exceed its value. And that's when owners walk away, not because of an accident, but because the math no longer makes sense. Chapter 9: Why people still buy them. So with all this, why do people still do it? Because sometimes it does make sense. For certain individuals, time is incredibly valuable. If a jet saves them enough hours, and those hours translate into high-value work, then the equation changes. It's no longer about luxury, it's about efficiency. But that only works at a certain level of usage. Below that, it's a lifestyle choice. Above that, it becomes a tool. Most owners sit right in the middle, which is why many describe it as worth it, but not logical. Chapter 10: Where the Money Really Goes. Here's the part that ties everything together. Look at where the money flows. The management company gets paid regularly. The service providers get paid. The fuel suppliers earn margins. The manufacturers profit from parts and service. Everyone involved earns consistently, except the owner. The owner carries the risk, the depreciation, the uncertainty. Everyone else sells a service. The owner funds the system. Conclusion: the real trade-off. So what are you really buying? Not just a jet. You're buying responsibility. You're buying complexity. You're buying a system that requires constant input. And yes, you're buying a certain kind of freedom. But it's not absolute. It's conditional. It works beautifully when everything aligns, and frustratingly when it doesn't. That's the reality. And the people who handle it best, they don't try to justify it. They understand it. They accept the cost. And they treat it for what it is. Not an investment, not a shortcut, but a tool with a price. If you made it this far, you now understand something most people never will. So if you want more breakdowns like this, real, honest insights into how money and power actually work. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because the truth behind wealth is always more complicated than it looks. And we're just getting started. H.